Well, Steve Kuncewicz from BLM Law, who specialises in social media law, is on the line. Thank you for joining us. I wonder if you could explain, first of all, how social media companies in the UK are currently policed.
Good morning. So the way social media companies are currently policed is actually relatively loosely, if you like, and they're protected by law that originated in the EU that says that if they're not aware of content like this being on their systems, on their servers, on their platforms, then they normally only need to take action when they're asked to by, say, the police, for example, or the government in this case. And as a result of that, they've seen issues like this come up. They've made commitments to try and tackle those issues in coordination with say, self-harm charities, with groups like the NSPCC and so on. But what the government's looking at here is the possibility of a regulator to govern what they do, and that regulator could, for example, fine them if they don't take content like this down, and this could lead to the eventual threat of them being taken offline altogether, although I would imagine that's very much the thick end of the wedge.
Given how they operate, is it possible to know what kind of content is on your site unless somebody flags it up to you?
Well, I think the easy argument is to say that it's very possible due to the fact that these platforms built by the social media networks, and you can use software, you can use technology, you can use algorithms to get to this content fairly easily. There is a debate on the other side, though, that isn't of much comfort to the family in this horribly tragic situation, to say that actually some content and the community being able to talk about that content can even be helpful in cases like this.
Yeah,
so it's a really difficult balance to strike.
Well, exactly. Molly Russell's father was saying that algorithms push the negative material to her, and I suppose that the process is that algorithms mean that you see what you're interested in, doesn't it?
That's exactly right. So if you search for certain things on Google, for example, when you go on websites, you'll be delivered adverts that reflect your browsing habits. And it's very similar on social media. And the suggestion is that you might change those algorithms. So if you're looking for, say, self-harm material, you might only be delivered positive content. So again, this is seen as one way of dealing with the problem. It's certainly the way I think that the Samaritans and other charities have suggested that you deal with the problem. But again, when we're worried about, and it's not the same issue, stuff like fake news, for example, then we may be straying into the area of social media censorship, which raises other issues, obviously.
If politicians want social media companies to make changes, they have to be motivated to do that. And do you think that means possibly big fines or, as we were saying, outright bans?
I think we might be looking at fines. I think there's certainly been a push towards greater regulation, not just for this issue, but issues around revenge porn, as I said before, child abuse, child sexual exploitation, issues like fake news. And I think there's a growing acceptance by the social media platforms that there is going to be some less light touch form of regulation, although the DCMS itself doesn't know what that regulation is going to look like, and there's certainly an awful lot more discussion to be had before anyone else does.
Thank you very much indeed for your time this morning, Steve Kuncewicz from BLM Law, who specialises in social media.